There were many criticisms that he would not be able to field candidates in all the 234 constituencies.
People who have seen this list tell me that at least half these candidates are good candidates, solid candidates, and stand a good chance in the contest. We will get to know on the 4th of May. First in Tamil Nadu, no other leader had contested from two other places ever in Tamil Nadu. Large majority of the Christian minority votes for the first time might go to him because this is the first time a leader of his stature strengthening the hands of the emerging leader Udayanidhi Stalin. So if there is a younger lot, they probably are more aligned to his leadership. Seeman, who has polled 8 to 10%, I think, may see a drop in his vote strength this time. Some of his voters might actually move towards Vijay.
DMK leader Vijay has announced candidates in all the 234 constituencies for the upcoming assembly elections in Tamil Nadu. DMK and AIADMK, major Dravidian parties, have already announced their candidates and begun campaign also. Election fever is intensifying in Tamil Nadu. So let's talk to political analyst and author Mr. R Kannan to understand the current political dynamics. Hello sir, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, sir. It's the election fever is gripping all the constituencies in the state. Today, Actor Vijay has announced the list of candidates. So how do you look at his announcement, sir? Because there were many criticisms that he would not be able to field candidates in all the 234 constituencies.
I think those who thought that he wouldn't be able to field candidates for all the 234 seats have been proven wrong. I think they had grossly underestimated Vijay because he hadn't made a lot of noise. He has been quite, he had kept away from the public space quite a bit. His party doesn't speak often. There are no senior second-rung leaders who speak to the press quite often. For all those reasons, and since there is a lack of an organizational base in his party, there were analysts who felt that he wouldn't be able to field those many candidates. He would have a hard time finding the right candidates for those seats. People who have seen this list tell me that at least half these candidates are good candidates, solid candidates, and stand a good chance in the contest. We will get to know on the 4th of May.
Even some of them criticized that he would not be able to even read out the entire list of candidates, and this would be his maiden attempt. And he announced himself as a candidate in Trichy East constituency and Perambur constituency. Why do you think he contests from two constituencies?
This is a first in Tamil Nadu. No other leader had contested from two other places ever in Tamil Nadu. The only time a leader tried to do that was in 2001 when Jayalalitha filed nominations initially in two constituencies, but she had already been indicted in a corruption case and was barred from contesting these elections. So the maximum places that a candidate could contest is actually two places. So she filed nominations in two, fully knowing that they will be rejected and she will not be allowed to contest. And then simultaneously, she then filed nominations in two other places. So she was rejected on technical grounds as well. A candidate can only file in two places. But there have been instances outside Tamil Nadu where leaders have taken to show their wider reach and their appeal to the electorate. Have fought from two constituencies. Indira Gandhi did that in 1980. She contested from a seat in Andhra Pradesh, Medak, and she contested from Uttar Pradesh, Rabreli, where she was defeated in 1977. She was elected from both these places. Similarly, here, closer home in Andhra Pradesh in the assembly elections, N.T. Ramarao contested when he first took to politics. He contested from two places, Gudivada and Tirupati, and he won both the seats. So The idea is to show that these are larger than life figures, and they have a statewide appeal or a nationwide appeal, and that they can transcend any regional, uh, uh,
But do you think the same
biases.
formula applies for Vijay also?
Well, he wants you to believe that, and then we will get to know that very soon. I'm sure that they would have his advisors would have done internal poll surveys, and based on that, they must have chosen these two, what they consider as safe seats for him.
Sir, in your perspective, what are the categories of voters who would who would tend to vote for Vijay? So, do you think what are the other categories that of voters who would vote for Vijay?
A majority of the voters would be from the younger lot, those below 30 years of age, and those even below 45 years of age might be inclined to vote for Vijay for to usher in some sort of change, tired of these two Dravidian majors, etc. Every fifth voter happens to be a voter under the age of 30. Most of these people will gravitate towards Vijay if the audience that shows up in his rallies is any indication. Women voters, some of them will also be inclined. I also think a large majority of the Christian minority votes for the first time might go to him, because this is the first time a leader of his stature has emerged amongst themselves from their community, and I think they will try to embrace such a leader. So those and an undecided voters, I would think a fourth or even a third of the voter strength is probably undecided. Like, I'm a non-committed voter. I decide to vote for the best candidate in my constituency, and in using a particular set of yardsticks. Each and every voter, every non-committed floating voter would have certain yardsticks, and some of them, or a significant section of them, could consider Vijay as an alternative for these two majors who have ruled us for about 59 years.
DMK released the list of candidates, and Stalin proudly mentioned that many of the contestants introduced this time were graduates, and there were researchers, doctors, all that. And he even mentioned there is a big number of younger lot were given chances, in the sense over 60 of the contestants are young people. Do you think DMK was pushed to bringing new set of people into the fray? Do you think the party wants to declare that they also have younger lot in their group?
That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that they've decided to replace legislators whom, in their view, have not performed satisfactorily well, and then who, in their view, do not stand a chance of being re-elected, or whose position seems to be a bit vulnerable. So that could be the other reason. It could also be strengthening the hands of the emerging leader, Udayanidhi Stalin. So if there is a younger lot, they probably are more aligned to his leadership and are closer to him. The presence of Vijay could be another reason. It could be a combination of all of this. Besides, they have a survey, a polling agency within themselves, a strategic agency called PEN. We are told that they commission surveys periodically, and it could also be on their advice that, based on the current candidates, the incumbents, and their strengths and their weaknesses, and if a change is warranted.
Sir, DMK this time has given chance to a young doctor, a 28-year-old doctor, Kokila Vani. She is contesting from Avinasi constituency. It's a reserved constituency, Kokila Mani. How do you look at this? Do you think by bringing such a young person and giving a chance, what does this show?
No, the party began like this when it contested the 1957 elections. Most of these contestants were in their 20s. The party has a tradition of banking on the young, and even leaning on some of the women. And you tell me that it is a reserve constituency, so it's actually a double double whammy in the sense like it's a woman, and besides she's young, and this Vijay could have altered some of these calculations in my.
Sir, in case of AIADMK, how do you look at the seat sharing, the negotiations carried out by ADMK leader Edapadi Palaniswamy?
Well, I'm sure that he must have also had a number of difficulties, but unlike the DMK, the way the DMK stitched its alliances and all that was washed in the open public. On the other end, things have been relatively smooth, but there are grouses amongst alliance partners. I did see a story where I'm told that the BJP leaders are a bit disgruntled with the seats allocated to them, not with the number of seats allocated to them, but the kind of seats that were allocated to them. For instance, they won 4 seats last time, right? They won Coimbatore South, Tirunelveli, they won Nagarkoil and Modakurichi. This time only Modakurichi and Nagarkoil have been reallocated to them. From Tirunelveli, the BJP state leader Nainar Nagendran had to shift to Satur. So, and in Coimbatore, instead of Coimbatore South, from where Vanudi Srinivasan, their nationwide women's president,
Mahila Morcha presidents, yeah.
One has now been moved to Coimbatore North. I'm sure that these are taken after due deliberations and consideration. Both the DMK and the AIADMK are accused of pushing off those seats where they are not very strong to their allies.
Okay.
So this happens usually to reduce their losses and for them to, everybody wants to hold on to more secure seats. And every major partner tries to do that. So when they allocate seats, they will allocate some good seats, but they will also allocate a fair number of seats where their alliance is pretty weak. And this is the rule of the game. Everybody understands this. So every ally tries to limit those weak seats to be allocated to them. And then they want, and then usually if you look at the election results, the two Kazhagam majors usually win where there is an ally competing against them from the other end.
Okay. Sir, often Vijay says this 2026 assembly elections is all about a game between DMK and TVK. And some analysts also say this is a four-cornered contest between DMK, ADMK, Nam Tamilar Kashi, NTK and TVK. Do you think this is a four-cornered contest?
I would consider this as a trilateral contest more than a four-cornered contest, because in a trilateral contest, you tend to have 3 major formations. For now, we have 2 major formations which we know of, the DMK alliance and then the AIADMK alliance. But going by the crowds that show up for Vijay, and Vijay happens to be the talk of the state, everybody talks about him, and going by all this and anecdotal evidence, I would think he is the 3rd formation. So why would I not consider Seeman as the 4th formation or contender? Because to be, I'm assuming that Vijay would get at least 15% of the votes. Seeman, who has polled 8 to 10%, I think, may see a drop in his vote strength this time. Some of his voters might actually move towards Vijay. So this is, in my mind, a major 3-cornered contest where, depending upon the candidate, depending upon the local issues, depending upon the campaign itself, it's likely that one of the 3, the AIADMK, the DMK or the TVK, one of those candidates could triumph over the other 2.
Okay.
So therefore, this is a 3-cornered contest. But to be able to get to power in a trilateral contest, you need to get 35 to 40% of the votes.
Okay.
That, I think, only one of those 2 formations could actually garner. For Vijay to do it single-handedly, will be a monumental task. I don't think that will happen. It's physically impossible. That has happened only once, and Andhra Pradesh when M.T. Ramarao contested without allies. Even in 1977 and in 1967, the DMK in 67 fought with a 7-party alliance. So it became an 8-party rainbow alliance with the left and the right. And in 1977, M.G. Ramachandran fought an alliance with the Muslim League. He fought an alliance with the Forward Bloc. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably a communist party with him. So it wasn't just MGR on his own like TVK. This is very brave an attempt. But is it a brave attempt or is it an electorally, strategically flawed attempt? We will get to know on the 4th of May.